Daf Yomi, Tractate Bava, page 107, A, top of the page, with the words Hasam Avud Rabbanan Milsa. Hasam Avud Rabbanan Milsa. The Gemara answers, the cases cannot be compared because there, in the case of the sale of grain, the sages instituted a matter that is suitable for the seller and also suitable for the buyer. Since the price of grain fluctuates, neither party wants the sale to be considered complete until the last se'ah is measured out, so that they each are able to renege on the sale should the price rise or fall. This reasoning does not apply in cases of division of property. Itmar, it was stated, Achin shechalku, ubabal choy v'notel chalko shelachal mehem, Rav Omar Batra machloikis, ushmul Omar v'iter, v'Rav Asi Omar noitel ovia, bekarka ovia b'mois. It was stated that the Amoraim disagreed about another related matter. If two brothers divided their father's estate between them, and then their father's creditor came and took the portion of one of them as repayment for the father's debt, Rav says the original division of the property is void, and the brothers must now redivide their remaining assets. And Shmuel says each brother, upon receiving his portion, has foregone his right to be reimbursed if his portion is lost. Rav Asi says the brother whose portion was seized is entitled to half the remaining inheritance. He takes 1/4 in land and 1/4 in money. Rav Amar Batla Machloikes Kosova Ach Shechalku Yoshin Hein. The Gemara explains the rationale for each opinion. Rav says that the original division of the property is void. This is because he holds that brothers who divided property received as an inheritance are still considered to be heirs with regard to the inheritance, as if they never divided the property, so that they continue to share joint responsibility for their father's debts. Therefore, if a creditor seizes the portion received by one of them, it is as if he repaid the debt on behalf of all the heirs. Accordingly, they must once again divide the remaining property between them. Ushmuel Amal Vitel Kosova Arichalku Lakoichos Uchelokech Shelo B'Achrayus Dami. And Shmuel says that each brother, upon receiving his portion, has forgone his right to be reimbursed if his portion is lost, as he holds that brothers who divide property received as an inheritance are considered as purchasers from each other, and each one is considered like a purchaser who bought his portion without a guarantee that if the field is seized in payment of a debt, the seller will compensate the buyer for his loss. Accordingly, the brother whose portion of the estate was seized by the creditor has no claim against the brother whose portion remained untouched. Ravasi misabkelei Yoshin havi lekoichles havu hilkach noitel rovia bekagel rovia. Rav Asi is uncertain whether brothers who divided property received as an inheritance are still considered to be heirs, or are considered to be like purchasers who bought their property with a guarantee of compensation should the property be repossessed. Therefore, the brother whose portion was seized by the creditor is entitled to half the remaining inheritance, and he takes 1/4 in land, like an heir, and 1/4 he receives in money, like a purchaser with a guarantee, who is compensated with money for his loss. Amar Rav Papa. Rav Papa says, Hilchasa b'chol hanishmaisa mekamtzihim. Rav Papa says the halacha in all the cases dealt with in these statements according to disagreements between Rav and Shmuel is that the brothers must each take off a share from their portion in accordance with the opinion of Shmuel. Amei ma Amar Batla Machlaikis, V'hilchasa Batla Machlaikis. Rather, any brother currently in possession of his portion must give part of it to his brother who lacks a portion, so that in the end they have equal shares. Amaymar says the halacha in all these cases is that the original division of the property is void, in accordance with the opinion of Rav. So the Gemara concludes the halacha is, in fact, that the original division of the property is void, in accordance with the opinion of Rav. Tanu Rabbanon. The sages taught in the Braisa and Tosefta Ketubot 11:2. Shlosha sheyadu l'shum. Echad omer b'mone u'shnayim omer b'masayim. Echad omer b'masayim u'shnayim omer b'mone. Batal yachad b'miutoi. The sages taught in the Braisa, in the case of 3 experts who went down to assess a certain property in order to determine the amount to be collected from it for repayment of a debt, and one says it is worth 100 dinars and the other to say it is worth 200, or one says it is worth 200 dinars and the other to say it is worth 100, the assessment of the single expert is nullified, since his is the minority opinion, and since the assessment of the 2 others is accepted. Echad omer b'mone v'echad omer b'esrim. Echad omer b'shloishim nidon b'mone. Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Tzadok omer nidon b'tishim. Acher moimrim oisin shuma b'nehen mushalishim. If one says the property is worth 100 dinars, and another says it is worth 20 selah, which is equivalent to 80 dinars, since 4 dinars equal a selah, and yet another says it is worth 30 selah, which is equivalent to 120 dinars, it is assessed at 100 dinars, which is the average of the assessment, as is equivalent to 25 selah. Rabbi Eliezer, son of Rabbi Tzadok, says it is assessed at 90 dinars, and as will be explained below, Acherim say, an appraisal is performed of the sum between the 2 most extreme assessments, and then divided by 3. The sum is then added to the lowest assessment. The Gemara clarifies the various opinions. The one who says that the property is assessed at 100 dinars holds that the middle of the 2 extreme assessments is followed. Rabbi Eliezer, the son of Rabbi Tzadok, says that it is assessed at 90 dinars because he holds that his land is in fact worth 90 dinars, Tishin Hashavia. And that's already on the top of 107b, which will be continued there